Hello and welcome to another beautiful day of the Great British Lockdown. I'm stuck ashore, same as you are. So how about some ideas of mobility exercises so that when you get back on your ski or kayak or whatever you do, you'll feel ready to go. So here we are. This is a collection of exercises that I discovered when I was studying Aikido in Australia 25 years ago. Seems to work, because here I am 25 years later, unreasonably fit still, and I've been doing them almost every day since. So first of all, sitting up straight. Hips are not rolled back, but roll forward. That's important through all these exercises. There are a couple of issues that a lot of paddlers seem to have. One's tight hamstrings, and the other one is the habitual hunching over, because we're all working at computers the whole time. And it's very difficult to remember to stay upright, particularly when you're looking downwards the whole time. We'll deal with that second one another time. But here, the hamstrings, some suggestions. If you make this a daily exercise, it will really work for you. A good habit to be in. Start with either putting your hand on there, or if you find that's too much of a reach without having the curl down, you can always use this is just a piece of webbing sewn together, or anything you like. So in this case, I'll just show you with this one. I'll give you something to hold on to without bending down too far. I use this once and then go down on the foot for the second time. So, starting with a good rotation, reaching up and slowly going down the arm until both hands are holding the same place. Looking ahead, extending the back upwards and rolling the hips forward. You want to do one of the hamstrings at a time, because obviously if you use two, they're much stronger than the back, and the back gets exhausted and nothing much happens to the hamstrings. So here we are to start with. So what I'm doing here is extending up, rolling the hips forward. I'm not trying to go forward, I'm just holding the pressure with my arms. Okay, so do that for about 5 breaths. So if I was doing it on the other side, which, excuse me, I'll turn away and do it, I'll be using my hand here, reaching up and over, rotating down the arm. Same thing again, I'm pulling on my foot, which helps extend the hamstring. And I'm rolling my hip forward. I'm not overextending the arm, and I'm certainly not curling down. The aim is to move the hips rather than anything else. So I'm rolling the hip forward, as you probably see. Next exercise I like, because it reminds me, and it's great for teaching people, about the feeling of the catch and that sequence at that time, how it leads with the driving foot. So again, I'll try the band. It just goes around the top of the foot, over there. Okay, so there's my paddle hand. That's just at the point when the blade's about to go into the water. So we're on maximum rotation, the other hip is moved forward, and I'm pressing against the foot there. So at that moment, I'm pressing with this bent leg, so that's my left leg. It's crushing my toes in the process. So anyway, I'm pressing with this leg, and as I do that, it initiates this whole drive. The leg goes to the hip, goes to the shoulders, and I'm just following through. So it's shoulder, elbow, hand. They're all locked together. But the sequence is moving from here, shoulder, elbow, top hand. So quickly you can't see it, but you can feel it. So obviously it's best to look ahead, but I'm looking at the camera. Right, so here, we see the other side. I don't usually use a band, as you can probably tell. So, hand up here, at that moment, just when you're catching the water, or just about to spear into the water, and put the power down the shaft to immerse the blade and hold it down there. So, here we go. This hip is forward and we're driving here. I do that a couple of times, both sides at least. Okay, well, anybody who's done any yoga will know that the next thing, having been rotating, is you need to straighten yourself up. So, here we are. Cheat band or practicality band, if it's most people. Extending upwards. It should be easy enough now because you've stretched both the hamstrings individually and the back should now be able to keep up with this. So I'm not bending down, I'm not overextending the arms, I'm just keeping them nice and relaxed and open and aiming at rotating that hip, I should say, tilting the hip forward so that the legs are extended. You can feel it on the back of the legs. Right, so if you want to extend again, same thing, but you want to make sure that you keep the back straight and extended. So the back is getting longer, it's getting higher, but nothing else is moving. Right. As you'll know from paddling kayak or ski, when you're putting the power on, a lot of that power gets carried by the abdomen. So it's worthwhile doing a bit of toning work for that, which is relevant. Obviously you can do crunches and things, but that's not really what you're doing in the boat. The thing I like to do is put fists on the ground. It's alright with something soft like the grass here or a good carpet, and just lift off. I do for about a count of 12, but it's whatever you like. Let's keep it at a 10 today. Okay then, next move. Opening right up, give some stretch to the adductors here. The other thing is, this is another of these rotation exercises, so I'll show you with this. Okay, so I've got my paddle, I've got my foot on the foot plate, and we're going to be just going for that extension moment. Extend. And at that moment, the foot drives. The foot drives. And the foot drives. And that front arm is simply taking the load. There's no pull. And this hand's not pushing. It's just, it's the leg that does the work. And the other side. I'm lifting my foot off the ground because I'm unused to doing this. Let me show you down here. The weight is on the paddle more. So, I would do a few either side, a few sets. 2, 3, 4, 5. And you notice I'm not just rotating, I'm driving from here, which drives everything else. So it gives you the feeling of the lock that runs all the way through at that moment of catch. Right then, so if you've got any more room to stretch your adductors, have a go now. Because what we're doing here is just rocking forward, tilting the hips again without bending the back. We're not aiming at this. Doesn't matter whether you hardly move at all. The main thing is you're stretching. And the stretch is good. Traditionally this is a count of 5. So that's 5 a side. And here, a little bit more. Good to do a kind of a butterfly. Get things loosened up. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd hold on to your feet. I've got one hand round there and one hand on the, what's that, the instep. And I'm just taking up the slack of my arms. I'm not pulling myself forward. So that's good. And then we go to the next thing. Having done all that backward or forward bending, time to do a bit of evening up. And traditionally in martial arts, you cross the left toe over the right toe. Not only does it make it more comfortable, but apparently it connects up the meridians so that your energy remains in circulation. More energy, I'm up for that. So anyway, what we do here is going down on one side and onto the elbow, other arm goes across, and we're down to relax on the ground, nice and easy. Lovely relaxation time. And then we'll roll out of it so that we can unlock the legs. Unlock feet, rolling here, and then coming up right. Okay, now just crossing hands in front of body and rolling up like a woodlouse. Rolling back. Traditionally, as you can tell, this part's done in fours, but whatever. Then the next part, we start with being upright and then roll back. So, and then coming up. Same idea of tilting the hips to be nice and upright with a straight back. Then we start making it a bit easier by allowing some momentum to carry us forward. So the legs go out a bit and hands go out a bit. Coming up again. Right. Next one gets a little bit more technical because we're aiming at straightening out twice per roll. Starts off upright, rolls back, and then when we get onto the shoulder, we straighten up the legs again. Easier to show you than to talk about. So it's like this. And then, well, it's time to get up. So, time to get up. And it's time to wish you well, stay well, and I'll catch you with another video. Cheers, man.